was a B-29, Bob. There's no outrunning what's coming.
Run, now!
Yo, welcome back guys. I hope you enjoyed the last video of me playing the Warlock class, but this time I'll be playing as the Bombardier. The Bombardier specializes in missing enemies intentionally, but it results in dealing much more damage. You can think of it as a bomb making impact that deals damage in the surrounding area. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, so to get the first weapon is very simple. All I need is 12 pieces of wood. Once I got enough, I made the splinter ball. If a projectile hits a block, it'll split into many other splinters. Next up is to craft some armor, and to get the first set of armor, I went to the ocean and collected some coral and seashells. Once I got back home, I made a few houses, a new weapon using some ice, a tombstone, and some stars that acts like a boomerang, which also creates after images if it hits anything other than an enemy, and then finally, I made the beach armor. This set effect gives me a 10% speed increase and damage. Next, I did a bit of mining and found some life crystals. With a fair amount of health, I then summoned the Eye of Cthulhu. I ended up using the ghastly ice bomb for this fight. With some of the Crimtane bars, I made the Evil Splinter, and as you can already guess, it's basically like the Splinter Ball. Now it's about time to take on Skeletron, but before that, I built an arena. I placed some blocks above the arena, leaving gaps in between them. The reason for this is to let the extra projectiles from the Evil Splinter fall down on the boss. When it turned to night, I talked to the old man to summon Skeletron. My plan actually worked. It ended up dealing a lot more damage than I thought, especially when only its head was left. Down in the dungeon, I was able to find the Muramasa, as well as the Cobalt Shield. With the Muramasa, I made the Mysaurian, and all it is just a Muramasa with 2 dynamites attached onto it, which I thought was pretty funny. However, I did end up killing the guide, so I'm sorry Andrew, you will be missed. I also ended up killing myself because I wanted to kill the blue slime. I then crafted the Haunted Bone Bomb, using the ice ball and some bones. It's pretty much the same thing, but it inflicts Shadow Flame when you hit enemies directly. The next boss on the list is the Brain of Cthulhu, and with the Bone Bomb, it completely destroyed the Flying Eyes. Once I got some tissue samples, I made the Deathbringer pickaxe and mined some green bricks at the dungeon to make the Green Captive armor set. This set gives me increased damage, speed, and defense, and these are doubled during the night. The next thing I did was mine all the way down to Hell, and when I got there, I started building the bridge to fight the Wall of Flesh. Afterwards, I went through the jungle and found more life crystals. I returned to Hell and mined some Hellstone to make the Hellstone Mirror. This weapon shoots out laser projectiles, and when it hits the floor, it splits into 2 fireballs. I then took care of the Goblin army. Now it's time to fight the Wall of Flesh. I used the Mysaurian to take out the Hungries first, since it was pretty much able to one-shot them. Afterwards, I finished it off with the Mirror and Bone Ball. Now that I'm in hard mode, I broke some crimson altars to spawn in the new ores. The next weapon I made was the evil Chalice. This weapon spawns in 2 homing projectiles that inflict the Ichor debuff. I'm also gonna need some better armor because right now I only have 18 defense. So I made some pearlwood armor and then I upgraded it to the sparkling pearlwood armor. The set effect is pretty much the same thing as the green captive armor, except it doubles my stats during the day instead of the night. Now it's time to get some wings, so I went up to a sky island and killed some wyverns for their souls of flight to make angel wings. I then summoned the Destroyer, my first mechanical boss. And the evil Chalice wasn't really a good weapon to use against this boss, since it was only able to target 2 segments of its body. However, I did end up killing it though. It just took a really long time. I then fought the twins, and this fight was definitely way faster. With some of the hollowed bars, I made the hollowed rod. And it's essentially like the ice rod, but it creates ice blocks way faster. And it doesn't use up any mana. I then fought the last mechanical boss, Skeletron Primes. And just like the Destroyer fight, it took quite a while to beat, since my projectiles were homing in on all of Skeletron's arms instead of its head. After having enough hollowed bars, I replaced my pearlwood armor with the hollowed armor set. I went down into the jungle and mined some chlorophyte ores. I also kept killing giant tortoises until I got their turtle shell. With the turtle shell, I made the RPDM. I was a little disappointed because I was expecting a huge explosion, but instead, it shoots out a laser at your cursor when it impacts on the ground. With this weapon, I went back down into the jungle and broke the Pantera bulb. The weapon did do a lot of damage and it was able to go through blocks, so I guess it wasn't all that bad. But you could say it was a little bit overpowered, since whenever I crit, I did well over 1,000 damage. I got Pantera to its second phase before it even reached me. Now that Pantera has been defeated, I went to the dungeon to kill some new mobs. I needed some ectoplasm to make a new weapon. Once I had enough, I made the rigged tomb. This weapon is unlike the others. The projectiles will duplicate even if it hits an enemy. And you know what? This weapon looks like the golem's balls, if it had any. So I was basically throwing his balls right back at him. Alright, so we're pretty much nearing the end of the game, and I think it's about time to upgrade my armor once again. So I summoned the Frost Moon event. Any enemies killed during this event will drop Souls of Evaporation. With these souls, I combined them with some chlorophyte bars and rain clouds to make Air Force bars, and then I turned the bars into armor. There are 2 kinds of boots that I could have made, but I chose the one that gave the dash. The other one just gave more armor and damage. I also crafted the hurricane with the bars, and it creates windstorms on impact. I started summoning as many windstorms as I can, and when the lunatic cultist hovered over me, it did a crazy amount of damage. But then the weapon just became useless afterwards. So I just used the RPDM throughout the entire fight. I used the analyzer flesh that I got from the lunatic cultist, and it summoned another pillar called the Zodiac Pillar. It had a lot of HP and there are new mobs as well. After destroying it, I got some Zodiac fragments. I used these fragments to make even stronger weapons. I made the lunar belt and the Zodiac saw. The Zodiac Saw was pretty much the same thing as the RPDM, and I really wished it was something different. And then the Lunar Belt is like the overpowered variation of the Splinter Ball. This one was my favorite weapon to use. I then went on to destroy all 4 pillars, starting with the Stardust Pillar, Nebula, Vortex, and then finally, Solar. And now it's finally time to face Moonlord. I used the Zodiac Saw because of its high damage on single targets, but it was quite hard to aim since Moonlord is constantly moving. After defeating Moonlord, I fought him a couple more times to get enough Luminite bars to make the full Zodiac armor. This set effect makes me run extremely fast. Alright, and that's about it for this mod pack. There is just one more thing that I want to showcase to you guys, and it's a weapon called the Apex Ballista, but I wasn't able to craft it since I needed adamantite bars, and this world only spawned in titanium. But yeah, it would look something like this. Alright, now that's pretty much it. My final thoughts on this mod pack: I just wish that some of the weapons could be a bit more unique. Most of the weapon effects followed the early weapons in the game. So yeah, a bit of a bummer, but it was alright. Hopefully you guys still enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and also subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.